Throughout history, the United States has seen its fair share of bizarre and seemingly ridiculous laws. While many of these laws have been repealed or are rarely enforced today, they still provide a glimpse into the social and cultural norms of the past. Here are some of the most ridiculous U.S. laws in history. The ice cream cone tax, New York, 1920s. During the 1920s, there was a law in New York that levied a tax on ice cream cones, deeming them a luxury item. Vendors were required to pay a tax for each cone they sold until the law was eventually repealed. No ice cream on Sundays. Gary, Indiana. In the early 20th century, Gary, Indiana, had an ordinance that banned the sale of ice cream on Sundays to prevent Sunday revelry. The law aimed to promote a more solemn observance of the Sabbath. The whale hunting law, Utah, 19th century. Despite being a landlocked state, Utah once had a law prohibiting the hunting of whales within its borders. This peculiar law remained on the books for many years, even though there was no possibility of encountering a whale in Utah. No walking backwards while eating a donut, Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, there was once a law that forbade people from walking backward while eating a donut. The origin and rationale behind this law remain a mystery. No selling hollow logs, Tennessee, 19th century. During the 19th century, Tennessee passed a law that made it illegal to sell hollow logs. The purpose behind this odd legislation is unclear, but it likely had to do with regulating the timber industry. The goatee tax, Indiana, 19th century. In the mid-1800s, Indiana imposed a tax on anyone who wore a goatee, as it was considered a sign of rebellion. This law was part of an effort to suppress the activities of secret societies and groups. No horses allowed in bathtubs, Texas. At one point, Texas had a law prohibiting people from using their horses in bathtubs. The reason behind this law is unclear, but it may have been a safety measure to prevent accidents. No whale fishing from moving vehicles, California. In California, it was once illegal to fish for whales from a moving vehicle. While whaling was an important industry in the past, the idea of hunting whales from a vehicle seems quite absurd. The ban on colored margarine, several states, 19th to 20th century. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many states had laws that banned the sale of colored margarine, as it was seen as a threat to the dairy industry. People were only allowed to buy uncolored margarine and mix in their own yellow dye. The cussing law, Virginia. Virginia had a law that imposed a fine on anyone using profane language in public, commonly known as the cussing law. This law aimed to promote civility and decency in public spaces. While these laws may seem absurd and comical today, they reflect the values and concerns of their respective eras. As societal norms and priorities evolve, many of these laws have been removed from the books, serving as reminders of the colorful and sometimes eccentric history of the United States.